Today we are going to learn about Unit 1. There's a lesson in that. In this Unit 1.1, we are going to read a story by Aesop. In other words, we are going to read and discuss a fable and explore features of fables. So, getting started, I have 3 questions for you. First is, what is a fable? Is it fiction or non-fiction? Second question is, I want you to discuss what makes the story of fable with a partner. Then present the answers yourselves. And the third question is, I want you to think and to say whether you know these famous fables, as you can see here, the fox and the crow, the tortoise and the hare, or the lion and the mouse. You can tell them to your partners or discuss what they be about. I already presented some papers and pens for you here, so you can use them to write down your answers. You have this 1.5 minutes to think of the answers. If there's any questions, you could ask me personally. Okay, is everyone ready with the answers, or do you need a bit more time? Okay, I think we can start with the first question. So, what is a fable? Is it fiction or non-fiction? Who has the answers here? And please speak loudly a bit so that I can understand what you're talking about.
Non-fiction.
Can you explain why a fable is considered non-fiction? Sure, you can explain. So what makes a fable non-fiction?
The story is not real. It's based on fictional characters, non-fictional characters.
Okay, I think that is a pretty good answer since most of these stories don't actually happen in real life. Okay, so in the second part, you are asked to discuss what makes the story a fable with a partner. I think you already explained that for just now. So we are going to move on to question 3. Do you know any of these famous fables? Who has heard of these famous fables before? Okay, so which one of these famous fables have you heard about? And can you please tell me what they may be about?
The tortoise and the hare.
Okay, can you explain a bit of the story to me, like in simple terms?
So basically there was a race, and then the hare was very confident that he will win first place because he's very fast, and faster than the tortoise. And the tortoise was humble, and then in the end the hare thought he had a lot of time, so he ended up sleeping at the side, and the tortoise ended up winning the race.
Okay, that is a very interesting fable. So now we're going to move on to the next part, as we are actually going to read a fable. You can see here we are going to read a story by Aesop. It's called The Ant and the Grasshopper. It's one of his most famous fables. Just some fun facts. Aesop lived in Greece in the 6th century. No one's really sure where it came from, but Aesop means from the Greek word Ethiop, which means Ethiopia. So that might actually be a clue, because Ethiop and Ethiopia sound a lot like each other. Okay, now we are going to read the story. I will read one part first, and afterwards you can continue. Okay. The Ant and the Grasshopper. One fine summer's day, deep in a meadow, a grasshopper was bouncing about.
One fine summer's day, deep in a meadow, a grasshopper was bouncing about.
Chirruping and singing without a care in the world.
Chirruping and singing without a care in the world.
An ant passed by, weighed down by the enormous ear of corn she was lugging to her nest.
An ant passed by, weighed down by the enormous ear of corn she was lugging to her nest.
Time and time again, the grasshopper watched the ant scurry back and forth, gathering food.
Time and time again, the grasshopper watched the ant scurry back and forth, gathering food.
Insects, flies, grains of wheat, anything she could find.
Insects, flies, grains of wheat, anything she could find.
Whenever one stopping to admire the glorious day or relax in the rays.
Never once stopping to admire the glorious day or relax in the rays.
The grasshopper found this difficult to fathom and teased her as she busied by saying,
The grasshopper found this difficult to fathom and teased her as she busied by saying,
"Take it easy there, ants. Why are you working so hard?"
Take it easy there, and why are you working so hard?
The day is long, food is plentiful. Come and rest a while and listen to my latest melody.
The day is long, food is plentiful. Come and rest a while and listen to my latest melody.
As it happens, grasshopper, I am storing up food for winter and you should be doing the same.
As it happens, grasshopper, I am storing up food for winter and you should be doing the same.
Summer won't last forever, you know, snapped the ant, shaking her head and rolling her eyes as she continued on her industrious way.
Summer won't last forever, you know, snapped the ant, shaking her head and rolling her eyes as she continued on her industrious way.
If anything, toiling just a little harder. Grasshopper, if anything, toiling just a little harder.
If anything, toiling just a little harder.
Grasshopper guffawed at the idea of working on such a day and hopped off happily into the sunset.
Grasshopper guffawed at the idea of working on such a day and hopped happily off into the sunset.
Singing and jigging all the way.
Singing and singing all the way.
And summer didn't last. It never does. Winter came.
And summer didn't last, it never does. Winter came,
Bringing barren, fair and frosty fields.
bringing barren, fair and frosty fields.
Grasshopper's song stuck in his throat as he shivered without shelter or sustenance.
Grasshopper's song stuck in his throat as he shivered without shelter or sustenance.
Gazing wistfully at the ants as they munched liberally from their stores of food.
Gazing wistfully at the ants as they munched liberally from their stores of food.
Shaking their heads at him and offering him nothing.
Shaking their heads at him and offering him nothing.
How foolish have I been, he wailed.
How foolish I have been, he wailed.
For only then did Grasshopper understand that he should have made provision for winter as Ant had said.
For only then did Grasshopper understand that he should have made provision for winter as Ant had said.
Okay, you did well on the reading here. So in this fable here, you can see that the ant is busy storing up food for winter, but the grasshopper doesn't realize what the ant is doing, so it doesn't store up food because he believes that summer will last forever, and eventually winter comes and the ants have food and shelter, which the grasshopper is outside without any food or shelter. So this shows that sometimes you have to make preparations for something even if it doesn't seem like it. And if you can look at the story here, there are multiple highlighted words. These are actually a glossary, some of the advanced forms of the English words. Like you can see here, fathom. Fathom means to understand something by thinking about it hard. Guffawed means laugh loudly, especially mocking someone or something. Fare is the definition of food and drink. Sustenance is also food, but fare is more of food and drink by, then wistfully, being slightly sad because you're thinking about something you cannot have. And liberally means in large amounts, like how they munch liberally from their stores of food. The ants munch liberally from their stores of food. Okay, now that we've finished reading here, I think we can move on to the next part. Okay, the next part here, what we're going to do is that we are going to discuss the story in a group. We are going to summarize the main idea of the story in 2 or 3 sentences. Who are the main characters? How are they different in what they say and do? One character learns something important. What was it? Which character do you think behaved the best? You can use examples to explain your view. Who would you rather be friends with, ant or grasshopper? Fables. The next question is, fables are found in many cultures and folklore traditions. What have you learned about fables from the story? Write a fable fact file in your notebook. You can use these words here to help you. Afterwards, you can discuss with each other about other stories you think might be fables. Then complete your reading log for the ant and the grasshopper. Is this a good way of teaching this lesson? You can explain your opinion. So here we have a total of at least 8 questions. Each person will be given a chance to present their findings. Okay, you can start now. You'll be given at least 3 to 4 minutes to think about the questions here. Afterwards, we'll be presenting the answers. Okay, is everyone almost finished, or do you require a bit more time? Are you finished, or do you need a bit more time because we're almost at the end? Okay. Okay, I think we can start with the first 4 answers. So the first question is, summarize the main idea of the story in 2 to 3 sentences. Who has the answer for that? Who has the main idea of the story explained in 2 to 3 sentences?
The grasshopper was just playing around and not preparing for what was going to happen. And the ants, he
is alright. Now for second question, who are the main characters? How are they different in what they say and do? Who has the answers for that? If no one has the answers for B, I think you can move on to the next question. We will leave that for later. One character learns something important. What was it?
The grasshopper.
Okay, can you explain to me what the grasshopper learned from this story?
Never take time for granted.
Never take time for granted. You mean as to take time for granted in not preparing for winter.
Yes.
Okay, I think that is a good example. Then we will move on to the fourth question. Which character do you think behaved the best? You can use an example to explain your view. Which character do you think behaved the best in this story? Okay. What do you think the character did? Which character do you think behaved the best in the story?
The ant.
Can you explain to me why the ant behaved the best?
Because it prepared earlier.
Oh, so it prepared for winter earlier, so it wasn't slacking off. Okay. And then we have E. Who would you rather be friends with, ant or grasshopper? Does anyone have any answers? May you explain to me why you would rather be friends with the ant instead of the grasshopper?
Because it won't grasshopper.
So you're saying instead of the grasshopper, it actually works to store food, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think we are done here. In here, you are required to write a fable fact file in your notebook. I assume that you have already written. So we are going to go to the last few questions. You're told to discuss other stories you think might be fables. Does anyone here have heard of any stories that you think might be fables other than the ant and the grasshopper?
The lion and the mouse.
Lion and the mouse. So it's one of the examples we heard of just now, alongside the fox and the crow and the tortoise and the hare. Okay, I think we will move into the last question. Jen, since I assume that you have completed your reading log for ant and the grasshopper, do you think this story is a good way of teaching this lesson of working hard and to prepare? Someone can explain their opinion. Who has the explanation? Do you think this story explain the lesson of working hard to be in a good way?
Yes.
Can you explain to me how they presented it in a good way in this story?
They showed the situation for each of the characters.
Oh, so it is an example between both of the characters. Okay. Now I want someone to explain in the features of a fable. Does anyone have an answer to this? The features of a fable. Do you have any answers for this?
The characters are mostly like animals.
Okay, they're mostly animals. Do you have any other answers to how to make your explanation clearer?
Most of the stories, the title is normally the ant and the grasshopper.
So it's mostly about the animals' names. Is there any other answer? Okay. Okay, so I think we have covered for this chapter where we talked about the fables and we explained the features of a fable in group discussion.